Hi, I'm Joanna Penn from thecreativepenn.com, and this is a video update on my first novel in progress, which is called Pentecost. Now, I have been doing these videos sort of sporadically for over 6 months now, and you'd think I would have finished my first draft. I am 65,000 words in. But what has happened in the last kind of month or so is that I had a bit of a breakthrough in terms of my plotting. And I started off not writing an outline, and then I wrote a bit of an outline. But in the last month, what's happened is I crystallized the plot in my head and finally wrote an outline that is actually now working for me. And I changed the beginning, I changed some of the ideas, but pretty much I then, set out my outline, and now I know what I have to write. And that has really freed me in terms of writing that first draft. I know what I'm writing is not great, but that's not the point right now. It's a first draft. I know how to get to the end, so I know how to get to around 80,000 words, and I'll be doing that in hopefully the next month. Other things getting in the way, obviously, like the day job, but I'm hoping to finish that first draft in July. So then I can actually start on the second sort of rewrite and editing and that type of thing, which I'll be doing a separate video on. So I wanted to just share with you that sort of moment, and actually I spent pretty much a whole day delving back into the whole ideas around the plot and redoing things, and so I spent a day that wasn't writing, it was thinking, and that was really beneficial for me. So if you're getting really stuck with what to write next, I suggest you spend that day kind of just looking at things and thinking about things and seeing what happens. Another thing that really happened that was fascinating to me, and I know a lot of writers talk about it, but it was kind of the first time I've really noticed it happening to me, is that while I was writing, I had to write this scene in this location where this happens, basically, and now write 3,000, 4,000 words on this, go. And I had an idea in my head, but as I wrote, things came up that were just brilliant and fantastic and came out of my subconscious, and I was in that zone, that people say. It didn't happen for very long, but I had a couple of really good ideas that came up that are, now in the book, and I can do some more research around, but they were good ideas, and I know where they came from in my subconscious, and in things that happened years ago, that will now happen in the book. But it was just interesting to me how that happened. But that only happened when I was writing, when I was forcing myself to write the 4,000 words, and it was hard work. I was really pushing myself. It was not some creative zone, it was actually working zone, thinking zone, writing zone, and as I was typing, these ideas came onto the page. So I'm really trying to encourage you, if you're struggling with your first draft, write it, don't just sit there thinking about it. Oh yes, and the other thing kind of exciting that's happened is I've been researching these different locations, and as I've been doing that, there's so much online, it's fantastic, but I have a scene set in the Cathedral of Santiago de Compostela in Spain, which is quite a famous cathedral, and the bones of St. James are there. Not giving up too much of my plot, but basically the characters that go there, and while I was researching it online, I found this thing that was like, wow, I could use that as an escape route for my characters. So I actually found part of the plot while I was doing my research. So that was, again, I guess, a tip that if you don't really know what's going to happen, go Google stuff, look on Flickr, look on, Wikipedia, different sites, find ideas actually at the location. You don't have to make it all up before you get there. So I have, quite a cool little scene there with this particular object in the Camino, the Santiago Cathedral. So that's very exciting. So the other thing I guess I wanted to say is that writing fast is where I'm aiming to go now, and I'm really understanding, finally, that this first draft just needs to be done and out of the way, and then I can actually start rewriting, doing the proper editing. And my personal goal now is to finish that first draft, start the editing, rewrites, etc., and enter my novel into the Amazon Breakthrough Novel Awards in January 2011. So that is my personal goal, and now I've set that goal, I feel like a new lease of life, I guess, in terms of seeing the deadline for this work. Now, I'll obviously enter it in that competition. We'll see what happens. I'll start writing the next one, and you know, whatever happens, it will see the light of day at some point. But I guess I'm just excited to know that I'm going to put it into that competition, and feel quite encouraged by this year's Amazon Breakthrough Novel Awards, which have literally just wound up in the last few weeks. Sort of reading the calibre of people's work and thinking, do you know, after a lot of editing, I might be able to get there. So I'd encourage you to also look at competitions you can enter in order to set a deadline for your writing as well. So that's my novel update for Pentecost, and yeah, happy writing to you too. And this is Joanna Penn from thecreativepenn.com.